What's good, YouTube? This is Admin Umbra back with Rocket HQ for another episode of Road to Hoenn, the show where we talk about how the Hoenn remakes and everything they bring is going to shake up all different kinds of metas. But I am, of course, not alone. I'm here with a whole Rocket hit squad, led, of course, by the one, the only Admin Shade.
What is going on, everyone? It is very nice to be back with all of you after my long vacation, but don't worry, we will be coming at you with content more and more and more often. So, as Admin Umber said, we are joined tonight, of course, by our Rocket Elites. First of all, we have Rocket Elite Master Ant.
Hi.
Hi. Yes. We have, of course, Rocket Elite Canton.
What's going on, guys?
And last, but certainly not least, Elite Muncher.
Hey, Pokey people! I'm glad to be back.
I like that Pokey People. That wasn't bad.
People.
I like that. Muncher with the introduction. But of course, everyone, if you are not familiar with Road to Hoenn, this is the show where we talk about how the remakes are going to change all the metas from OU to VGC and lower tiers as well. And it doesn't mean just the big news like Mega this, Mega that. Obviously, 6th Gen pokes and VGC mons in general have not had access to move tutor moves. It's highly probable that they will get access to move tutor moves in these remakes. So most of the episodes of Road to Hoenn, we actually talk about how either Gen 6 pokes or pre-existing mons in VGC will be affected by new move tutor moves. And before we begin, I just want to say that Road to Hoenn is always filmed with a whole crew of Rocketeers. If you ever want to be in an episode, just contact the admins. We are always looking for people to be in these episodes. You do not have to be an elite to join us in the Skype call. So, the first question, and today's subject, by the way, everyone, we're talking about Chesnaught and Delphox, two of the Kalos starters. Who obviously have not seen as much play, really. Do any of you think that we will see more of them, or they will be affected as a result of the megas we've seen thus far? So Mega Swampert, Mega Sceptile, Mega Sableye.
To tell you the truth, I'm not really sure. I don't have a ton of experience with Chesnaught and or Delphox. I've obviously used Greninja a lot because, I mean, let's be honest, who hasn't with competitive battling?
This guy.
But I could definitely see, if we see some cool moves coming from Chesnaught, I could definitely see it being a possible threat for Swampert. But we really just gonna have to see. What do you guys think?
I definitely think we'll see more. Yeah, I definitely think we'll see more of Chesnaught, especially with 120 power move in Woodhammer. I definitely think it'll be an answer to Swampert.
Actually, Ken, that's an excellent point you make. The fact that it is such a defensive tank, and the fact that it's neutral to ice. It has that fighting resist, so ice isn't super effective. The access to spiky shield, the grass typing. You have to wonder if more Chesnaughts will be designed literally to stop Mega Swampert, because even spiky shield is a very nice answer, and Swampert really doesn't have access to that great boosting move pool, so it's not like you lose a turn by going for spiky shield, but I hadn't thought of that. That's an excellent point. Yeah. What about Delphox? Do you see that Mega Sceptile really affecting how often we see Delphox anyway, or even Sableye? What is Sableye with Magic Bounce? Is that a threat to either Delphox or Chesnaught?
Sableye definitely. I definitely feel like Sableye will be a huge weakness to both of them. Mm-hmm. Magic Bounce being able to take back Will-O-Wisps if you're running the Delphox in a support manner, which I think is the way it's going to go. Mm-hmm. And Chesnaught, the burn. I mean, it can prankster burn you, second turn Magic Bounce, and you're going to be hurting.
Not to mention that now we might see a lot more Shadow Balls coming from Sableye instead of just Foul Play. Obviously, Shadow Ball will hit Chesnaught much harder. And it also does a lot of damage too. Right, yeah. It honestly seems like they won't change too much without looking at move tutor moves. But I do think you make an interesting point, Canton, that Swampert might give some reason for Chesnaught purely because it does resist the Ice Punch that Swampert carries for grass types. But that being said, again, we are here to discuss move tutor moves and how these new moves, how these new toys will affect Chesnaught and Delphox. Maybe Delphox will end up in OU or Ubers. Who's to say? That's what we're talking about today. So to start, let's go ahead. We're going to read through some of the move tutor moves. We're starting our discussion with Chesnaught. And I'm just going to really briefly read through some of the moves that could possibly be move tutor moves. that might be interesting. And then we can just have a general discussion about it. So just going down the list of move tutor moves, and this list is taken from several different move tutors because we're not sure exactly what will appear in the remakes. We see counter, rock slide already gets, seismic toss, let's see. It already gets a lot of these. Defense curl, endure, psych up. All these are fairly low in terms of intensity. Let's go up to the more recent move tutor moves. We do see knockoff, thunder punch, zen headbutt. It already gets synthesis, helping hand maybe. Drain punch, superpower, iron head, iron defense, gunk shot, endeavor. Bounce would be pretty interesting. Let's see. Are there any I'm not saying that you all are seeing?
No, I think you're covering it pretty well. I think there could be some really interesting synergy between, I mean, like you said, this is already pre-existing, but a really interesting set possibility with synthesis, spiky shield, and that drain punch you're talking about. I know Canton was saying that, Canton, you said that you were kind of excited about the possibility of it having drain punch. What kind of ideas do you have with that?
I mean, just with the amount of base power that he has, if you run, I mean, he's very bulky. So you can easily run leftovers on him, run a drain punch to heal back with a belly drum setup.
Okay, I could see that.
I think he'll be run assault vest, honestly, because if you get drain punch, it's a lot more reliable recovery.
Does he also get
I mean,
power
like
punch?
Conqueror can run assault vest because it's got reliable recovery. It's
Do
got
you
the
know?
stab drain punch, and I think that we could see a grass defensive Conqueror almost.
That would certainly be interesting. I think, honestly, to me, the most enticing of all these toys is if Chesnaught gets knockoff. That's a huge weapon in its arsenal. Any fighting type that's got knockoff has benefited exponentially from it. And that goes even farther to strengthen Munchin's argument about could this be a very similar bulky assault vest fighting type. It gets access to knockoff and drain punch. And don't forget it's got that grass typing for a lot of the bulky waters we see. Obviously it's kind of harder for Kinkelder to take on your... I just forgot what that thing is called. The groundwater, not Swampert, but Quagsire. Thank you, yeah. I don't know. To me, knockoff looks like a very, very impressive move. What do you all think?
I agree.
Yeah, knockoff definitely helps.
Now, here's a question. Now, obviously, Stealth Rock in the past has been a move tutor move. Do we think... Obviously, it has access to spikes right now. Will it get Stealth Rock?
I can see it.
Yeah, it's definitely possible running more of like a bulky setup. Maybe like a leech seed setup with a recover or something along those lines. That way it can last longer. And just set up hazards. I mean, you set up double spikes and stealth rocks. It's gonna hurt anything that comes in.
I honestly think that...
Like Ferrothorn?
Yeah, very much so. Because historically, mons that get access to both Stealth Rock and Spikes tend to do very well. I'm wondering if rocks will make it more common. You consider that whatever its biggest checks, or excuse me, biggest counters is Talonflame. And now you're like, I have rocks for you.
I was talking to some of my friends earlier. I really don't think that they're going to give Stealth Rocks as a move tutor again.
What is that?
It destroyed ice types in 5th gen. It just destroyed them. It was too good.
With the prevalence of fighting types, I mean, ice types are already almost kind of...
It doesn't matter. You don't need to add more and add to the final thing. It's just, it almost destroyed the meta of 5th gen, and I don't think that they're going to do it again. They look at it, Stealth Rocks is just too good. They gave it to too many Pokemon. So I don't think we're going to see it again.
The problem, though, is what meta is it affecting? Because if they're designing for VGC, Stealth Rock's almost non-existent. And really,
they look at singles. Let's be fair. They do look at singles.
I honestly really doubt it, based on the decisions I see being made. Like, I don't think you can say they look at singles when Mega Kang is a thing. Like,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Talonflame, Mega Kang.
There are too many things in single. Like, I don't think they care at all about singles.
There's a reason why Talonflame's called Smogon Bird, because it's so good in OU singles. Okay, that it's god in OU singles. It took over the meta for a long time.
I hope they bring Stealth Rocks back, because a lot of players who don't have access to Gen 5 move tutors and PokeGen will be able to get the competitive mons, because essentially if we get these move tutors, we're talking about PokeGen no longer being necessary. It would still be a faster way to get those pokes, but you would have access to all the same things. Maybe even more toys. Maybe there will be new attacks who've never been move tutor moves before.
I don't know. To be honest, part of me agrees with much of that when too many Pokemon have it, though.
This is true, but at the same time, like, when X and Y were first in meta, I remember when, like, Tyranitar had Stealth Rocks, and that was it. Like, every...
And
like, there
Mammo was there, too, and that's about
right,
it.
there were 2 Stealth Rockers.
And Donphan.
Donphan wasn't out when X and Y first came out. Those were, like, the only 2. Those were the only 2 that you could get without Pokebank that had Stealth Rocks. And Tyrantrum, but no one ran that. And it was, like... I honestly, like... 5th Gen did have a lot of Stealth Rockers, but I honestly feel like they'll bring it back. But you make an excellent point that so many mons have access to that now. Will they bring it back? But I mean, it doesn't stop anything, because Smogon won't ban those mons from having Stealth Rock. So they'll still be in the meta.
I know, but it won't make the game fun.
The thing about it, too, though, to think about it like this, is that, like, yes, a lot of pokes did get Stealth Rock, but at the same time, like, it's pretty much standard as far as singles go to bring a Defogger or a Rapid Spinner. Like, people are prepared for that, I think.
That's true.
And Defog's got a boost. It's not as if you're in the dark. Like, Defog is here. Like, in 5th Gen, you had to have Rapid Spin. You don't anymore. Defog is a very, very real option. It's very prevalent. Here, what if they brought Defog back? Because think about how many things, like, Gliscor gets Defog, but not without Poison Heal. Or excuse me, Hypercutter. You can't have Dreamworld Gliscor and Defog. You can't have Dreamworld Dragonite and Defog. If they brought Defog and Stealth Rocks back, good lord, that would be fantastic for singles.
That would be nice, because then it would be giving Pokemon access to those moves, like you're saying, and also giving us an answer to them.
That would be very, very nice.
I think that's the only way that they would bring it back. You guys make a good point. But if there's not enough answers to it, they're not going to bring it back.
What do we think in terms of Chesnaught? Are there any other moves that you all see that catch your eye? I feel like we've said that knockoff, Stealth Rocks, Drain Punch seem to be the big ones. Are there any other moves before we move on to Delphox that you want to highlight or discuss?
Well, one thing I wanted to say really quick is that if Chesnaught does get knockoff and it also gets rocks, I could see this thing being a big anti-lead. And the reason for that is obviously because of the knockoff, but also being able to throw out Stealth Rocks, trying to dismantle Talonflame before it even comes out, especially because it gets the Rock Slide. And in addition to that, it does get the Wood Hammer for any Greninjas, because you know that some of this might spill over from the meta in X and Y into the new remake. So I could honestly see this thing as a possible anti-lead depending on how it's run.
And you're talking about spikes and rocks. Keep in mind, this thing gets war right now.
It does, yeah.
So, like, there's no reason this thing could not become a very, very powerful phaser. I especially like the thought that this might be one of our best answers to Mega Swampert. I mean, the fact that it is so physically invested, and we probably will not see many mixed Swamperts. Who knows? That might be really cool. We've talked about how Swampert doesn't really need 4-move coverage. Maybe mixed Swampert will become a thing specifically for Chesnaught, because honestly, with its level of physical bulk, to me, it's an amazing answer to Swampert, and you could really end the Swampert sweep with this thing.
What do you guys think?
I definitely agree with that.
Cool.
We have no idea what Swampert's going to do.
Yeah.
Really cool. It'll be very interesting, like, in those first few weeks with the Megas, it'll be pandemonium, which I'm excited for. Like, everything will have different sets, and we'll kind of have to see what settles into being the dominant set. And it'll be very interesting. Like, you know, stuff we could never imagine now might become very, very popular. Like we said, maybe mixed Swampert will be a thing. We don't know what its stats will look like. And maybe someone at Rocket HQ, you know, someone watching this will kind of break a code and come up with, like, this is the set. Because it'll be interesting to see how the metagame is defined, because it'll be young and very subject to change. So it'll be interesting to see which sets actually become the popular versions.
Yeah, one more thing on the sets for the Chesnaught. We are forgetting he will have access, hopefully, to the elemental punches if they bring them back. Gunk Shot and Iron Head to help deal with fairies.
I definitely think Gunk Shot and Iron Head are a possibility. Both of which would be very interesting. These are a lot of options. Will it become more offensive? Will it be the Assault Vest variant that Muncher's describing with some great coverage? Will it be support? Will it be hazards based? The question is, which elemental punches, if any, will it get? The idea of a grass type thing, of a grass type mon getting fire punch is kind of absurd to me. If it got it though,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be incredible if it got fire punch. I think that could honestly solidify it in OU. To me, Thunder Punch is honestly a possibility. I mean, like, I believe Sceptile has access to Thunder Punch from a move tutor, so there's no reason Chesnaught couldn't get it. Ice Punch seems unlikely, but it could certainly get Thunder Punch. The question is just, does it really benefit from that at all? This thing already gets Rock Slide. But who knows? Maybe we'll see Chesnaught become more of an offensive juggernaut. I mean, it gets Belly Drum. It just would require a great deal of support to use those stat boosts effectively with its low speed and lack of priority.
I think a belly drum setup would be more likely to be seen in VGC compared to the singles.
I would agree with you. You've got Tailwind, you've got Map Lock, you've got other ways to make it more viable. I think I saw somewhere on here that Sucker Punch, am I mistaken, or was Sucker Punch at one time a move tutor move? It was a move tutor move, and I believe Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Wouldn't that be interesting if the thing
That would
got
be
Sucker
amazing.
Punch? That would
Yeah,
be
when-
fantastic.
Psychic tags.
Even just access to priority, that would be very, very nice. You've got Pain Split. There's all sorts of mind games you could play if you had access to Sucker Punch. That would be very, very nice. But unless there are any more closing thoughts, we've given a lot of love to Chesnaught. Is everyone ready to go ahead and move on to Delphox?
I
I'm
am.
Yeah.
All right, so Delphox. But let's open the floor. Are there any thoughts about Delphox as it is
Currently,
currently?
it should always be used with the choice scarf. Switcheroo. Always.
Now,
Scarf god.
do you prefer Scarf to a Spec variant?
Yeah. With switcheroo, it's definitely better with the scarf. Because then, especially better for revenge killing. Because it's a lot of things that will, if it does outspeed, it will one shot. So you definitely need the extra speed.
And obviously, I haven't seen a great deal of Delphox. It does get some interesting moves. I know I've tried to use it before. But Masterman, I know you're familiar with Delphox. What tiers do you use it in?
I only use it in the RU tier.
And do you find it to be effective in that tier?
Yeah, it works with the choice scarf variant with Grass Knot, Sight Shock, and Fire Blast and switcheroo.
It
Well,
does
that's-
have base speed 104.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's really not bad. Let me ask you this. Do you see anything in the move pool of move tutor moves that this thing gets that might bump it up some tiers?
For me, it becomes more of a support Pokemon.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
With what moves?
Kill Bill.
Ooh. Well,
We're talking about Delphox now, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, there's a lot of moves on the move tutor. I think that'll really help it. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Let's toss them out right now that Delphox could get. You obviously get Switcheroo, but Trick, Helping Hand, Swift possibly. Not that that's very useful. Let's see what else.
Skill Swap.
Skill Swap.
Skill swap. That's it.
Role Play, Gravity, Heal Bell, Heat Wave, possibly knock off, who knows, Magic Coat, possibly Plane Split, seems unlikely. Role Play definitely though. Super Fang, I'm just wishing at this point. Let's see, are there any others? Those seem like the big ones to me. I'm looking at the final list down here. We've said
I can see
Gravity,
it get a Signal Beam.
Magic Room, Signal Beam's a good one. Wonder Room, maybe it was Cycle, to be honest. But yeah, Skill Swap and Roleplay definitely as well. Honestly, this could become more popular in VGC in my opinion. I don't know if Delphox already has access to Heat Wave, but
I
Helping
think it
Hand,
does.
to me, Helping Hand seems very likely, honestly.
It actually doesn't get Heat Wave. It doesn't learn it, but I mean, you could use it with a Will-O-Wisp setup as well.
I think it would probably get Heat Wave by move tutor then.
It gets Heat Wave now, guys.
I'm looking at it, doesn't?
Yeah, I have it right
Yeah,
here.
that's okay.
What level does it get it at?
I don't know, but it's here. It also gets overheat. That could be interesting. That's more of like a singles kind of thing though, because I don't know that much about a VGC. I don't know if you'd want to really use overheat in that kind of environment. But
it's iffy. It does work though.
yeah, I'd really love to see this used possibly even on like a gravity VGC team. I think that'd be really interesting to see. But yeah, what do you guys see this doing in certain kind of tiers? I'm not really sure.
As far as the signal beam, I can see that working better, so it can better deal with Malamar, because Malamar is currently a very good Pokemon in the lower tiers. Malamar, Cacturne, and Shiftry, all being 4 times weak to signal beam. It could definitely help out with those 3.
What move would you see getting rid of the set you're currently running? What do you think Signal Beam outclasses?
It would either it would probably take out Grass Knot, because that's the only thing I would really risk switching out is Grass Knot, and then just add Violet Plume to the team.
Okay. Are there any other offensive toys that we see this thing getting that are intriguing? Obviously, it already has access to Switcheroo. To me, Heat Wave is a very interesting option. Obviously, that's more HEC oriented. I don't recall seeing any other attack, like offensive moves I thought were interesting. Did any of you see any?
Yeah, it learns Ancient Power as a tutor move it could learn.
That would be interesting.
Also Earth
That
Power.
would be big.
Earth Power, I think, is perhaps wishing for slightly too much, but Ancient Power, like Charizard gets Ancient Power. Heatran gets Ancient Power. I mean, Delphox is a wizard. I don't know if that's ancient enough, but that would be very, very interesting. Especially if you're Scarf. You don't even need to be Scarf. You could be Specs. You outspeed Charizard naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting if it got Ancient Power. That would be very, very cool.
Yeah, based on the move to the here, I could probably see more of support.
I agree with you. I know I've tried to want a supportive Delphox before. Like, it gets cool things like Willow and Wish. Another move that could be easily overlooked I'm looking at is it could get Ominous Wind, which is a base 60 ghost type move. It has a 10% chance of raising your stats. Very similar to Ancient Power. It's effectively a ghost type Ancient Power. But I don't know what sort of tools Delphox gets to deal with other psychic types. Obviously Signal Beam now could be an option. But that's also an interesting move I haven't heard anyone else discuss.
Get Shadow Ball.
It does get Shadow Ball?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Canton, I know you had some rather crazy ideas in terms of some supportive things this thing could do. What are your hopes for Delphox in the new meta?
I'd love to see it get skill swaps, my big thing. With a skill swap set, you can basically give the opponent's Pokemon Magician, and they're going to be holding an item. So as long as you don't go crazy and give it to someone that knows Unburden, they're stuck with an ability now that's completely useless to them. So that's one thing. Aside from that, Gravity would definitely be helpful for dealing with Pokemon like Talonflame, who is very, very common in BGC. Even Magikarp, maybe. If you predict a some sort of setup paralysis from a prankster, swagger from a prankster,
Yes.
send it right back at him.
I think honestly Delphox is sort of shaping up to be perhaps viable in VGC. Mystic Fire also could easily be a fantastic support move. Lowering the special attack of your target. You have access to both Willow and Mystic Fire, so you can lower both physical attack and special attack. That's something that not a lot of mons have access to, and it's certainly very interesting to consider. Although obviously now, actually I just checked and it does get Heat Wave through breeding. Shades, you are correct. But to me, I'm seeing Delphox as more of a supportive mon, perhaps in VGC, perhaps doing some work offensively in lower tiers, but who knows, a Scarf variant might be able to rise through the ranks. Honestly, Master, you make an excellent point now, just in terms of the fact that it outspeeds a lot of threats. It could be a great revenge killer in higher tiers, honestly. Even things that we talked about, Charizard it outspeeds even without a Scarf. It could be interesting to see some more of Delphox.
Absolutely.
Do we think this thing, like, would we consider a Scarf Delphox? Do you think that would be a threat to a Mega Sceptile? Keeping in mind that Mega Sceptile now is neutral to to fire getting dragon grass, do you think that there's any way a Delphox would actually touch a Mega Sceptile?
Not really, since it does get Earthquake,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't get much to actually hit it back with.
Mhm.
Now that it is neutral to fire.
You
Correct me
do
if I'm
have
wrong.
Gorilla though.
Is a Draco Meteor a move tutor move?
It is a move tutor move.
Yeah, but he can't get it. You can only you have to be only the dragons can get it. Actual dragon types.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I
and
wasn't
you
sure.
have to be like a natural born dragon. So like Ampharos won't get it, and Sceptile won't get it unless we see a major mechanic change. Which, honestly, if Sceptile gets Draco Meteor, good lord, like that'll be insane.
Pokemon's definitely been going into the method here lately of doing mechanics changes, especially with this new game with X and Y. I just don't see them introducing a huge mechanics change in a remake.
I agree with you to some extent. I think
Yeah, I
it'll be
gotcha.
more about tying things together. I wouldn't say that the a Draco change is a major change. It would be odd to do in the middle of a gen. Because like obviously you'd think that there would have been change in X and Y were that the case. But I think you're right. I think this is more about updating things. And I think that's why they're going to bring move tutor moves back, because it will tie things together. I think it'll be the most exciting for VGC, all these moves that you previously didn't have access to, but also for competitive players in other metas who have not had access to PokeGen. The fact that a lot of these mons will be getting new attacks is going to be very, very exciting in my opinion. Are there any other thoughts on Delphox before we close out? Any other thoughts?
She's pretty.
She's pretty.
That's about it. I don't know.
Yeah, to me, honestly, let's ask this question. Who do you see being more affected / being used more in the new meta? Chesnaught or Delphox?
Definitely Chesnaught.
Chesnaught.
I say Chesnaught for sure.
Just it being a sheer answer for Mega Swampert, I really feel like it's gonna.
Yeah, you're giving me ideas for my teams for the new meta already. Honestly, I agree with you. I feel like Chesnaught might get a few new toys. To me, knockoff would be huge. If it got knockoff, that's absolutely huge, tremendous. Stealth Rock would also be a great addition, but also Drain Punch. And unfortunately, we're looking at it. Offensively, Delphox would gain very little. Signal Beam would be great coverage for a few pokes. But other than that, it's really looking at being a support mon, and the question is going to be, are there mons that do that better? And that'll really be the question. Will Delphox be outclassed? I think it's got a better chance in VGC where the options are narrower, but assumedly Delphox won't be in the next VGC because it won't be the Hoenn Pokedex. And that's obviously the format in which the next VGC will be played. So hard to say, but let us know in the comments. Do you agree with us? Are we wrong? What do you think of Chesnaught and Delphox? What do you think of them now? Are they great? Are they bad? What do you think about them in the new meta? Will we see them all the time? Will they be OU, prevalent VGC, Ubers? Who knows? Did we miss any attacks you think would be really cool for them to get, i.e. Draco Meteor Delphox? Where's your head at? Let us know what you think of these next mons, and stay tuned for more episodes of Road to Hoenn. This is Admin Umbra and the whole Rocket HQ crew signing off.